So hi guys, how are you doing today? And we're doing. It's good to see you guys once again. It's good to finally catch up. At the beginning of the year, like, it's always very hard for me to always be able to come back because I just feel like I need to take more time. But nonetheless, I'm here now, so let's do this. So today we're going to be talking about the First Lady of France, Brigitte Macron. Okay, so I had wanted to tackle this topic, but I was like, listen, I don't want to be doing this with the Yuletide season, around the corner. So here we are. So maybe you've heard, maybe many of you have not heard. She got into hot water with the feminists, in French, they said the militant feminists, but again, it's a movement, it's an activist group. So she got into a hot water with them sometime last year, where she went for a comedy show. Now, this comedy show was held by a French comedian whose name goes by Ary Abitan. Now, Ary Abitan is not just because of the fact that she went to this show that was held by him. The feminist activist came out on the show during the show, and they were protesting. So we're going to have to go back a little bit to the reason why they were protesting, right? Now, again, know that Brigitte Macron in recent times has not been having a very favorable year with the media and with the French people, as well as her husband and a lot of other things. So, we all are aware that Candace Owens went on this revenge-seeking mission. I don't know what it was all about her genealogy and all that. So she hasn't been scoring a lot of good points, right? With French people as well as internationally. Anywho, so she went to this show by Ary Abitan. So very quickly, Ary Abitan is a guy who's an actor and a comedian. Now, if you watch a lot of French movies, there is a movie which I'm still yet to find to be able to watch. Qu'est-ce qu'on a fait au bon Dieu? And I've been told by so many people to go watch it, but I can't find it anywhere to watch. And so Ary Abitan was an actor on that show, on that movie, which happened to have a lot and lots of excellent reviews. Now, in the period of the shooting of that movie, and after the movie came out, he was accused of SA. Now, in the course of that period, right, this was in 2021, and so the matter went to court, and it was dismissed. In French, they call it a non lieu, and it was dismissed for lack of a probable evidence. So it doesn't mean that he's innocent, and neither does it mean he's guilty. It's just that the court is saying that there isn't enough evidence to have him condemned. Now, the problem, with a lot of this is that, well, what he's been accused of is quite a long list. So I'm going to read it out, all right? It's in French. So I'm going to try to read it out, and then you'll be able to understand. I'll read it out and then translate in layman's terms what they actually are. So, according to the facts that we're given, says that the doctor, the legal doctor who was actually given the role of finding out, of examining the victim of SA by Ary Abitan. Now, this is what they say. And so when they say there's for lack of probable cause, it actually, gets you to, it raises eyelids. So first of all, lésions, il y avait les lésions anales et vaginales graves, déchirures physio-hématomes internes et externes et saignements abondants au niveau génital et anal. Ces blessures sont qualifiées de traumatiques et compatibles avec un rapport sexuel anal non consenti ou forcé. So basically what they're saying is that from what the legal doctor found out, he says that there was tear in both the anal and vaginal regions, and which are constant with trauma and forced entry. The second one that the doctor came up with was the trace des violences externes, contusion bleue, that's, black and blue when you start having, purple bruising, sur les cuisses, les hanches, et la joue gauche. So, yeah, so these are consistent with forced, attacks or violent attacks. And so he's talking about, on the thighs, cuisse, the thighs, and hips, and the cheeks, and then and he talks about the left cheek, and he also talks about possibly slapping, right? Then they also talked about ainsi que les griffes sur les bras et les torses. So they are talking about also scratch marks on the arms and the stomach region. And les plaignants évoquent aussi une strangulation légère avec les mains au cou. So strangulation, that, with, hand marks on the neck, on the throat. Then the next one, élément matériel corroborant. So corroborating elements, material elements. Du sang frais sur une serviette du bain saisie au domicile de Ary Abitan. Analyse comme provenant de la plaignante. Les messages envoyés à une amie juste après les faits décrivant une douleur insoutenable et une panique totale. Right. So what they are saying here is that, okay, these are corroborative, physical elements. And they were talking about fresh blood on a towel, okay, that was found in Ary Abitan's home, and it was analyzed, and it was also from the victim and the plaintiff. And then they talked about, messages, SMSs, whatever, maybe emails that he had sent to his friend, just after, the acts that described, her, pain and panic, total panic. So this is from the victim, and this is from what the legal doctor, gave the court. Now, this is also coming in the wake of the fact that the French SA in the French cinema, in the French entertainment industry, cinema and amongst, has been very prominent, and it's very common in France, unfortunately, with nothing coming out of it. So one of the most prominent ones or popular ones was about Gérard Depardieu. And Gérard Depardieu was actually, it's not the first time, he's actually been, accused of SA a couple of times. And so it was very shocking and quite, I would say, it was very shocking and quite surprising when the president made a statement concerning Gérard Depardieu, and he actually said something in the corridors of that, something about chasse à, I need to get the word exactly. We're on the internet these days, so we have to be very careful with things we say. So he says that, according to Le Monde, French President Emmanuel Macron on Thursday, December 21st, faced accusations of siding with sexual aggressors after saying film icon Gérard Depardieu, charged with rape and facing a litany of sexual assault claims, was the target of a manhunt. So chasse à l'homme. So I was very correct. I just needed to make that very clear. Now, Depardieu is 74, who has made more than 200 films and TV series, and he was charged with rape in 2020 and has been accused of sexual harassment and assault by more than a dozen women. So this is not a new thing. He currently faces fresh scrutiny over sexist comments caught on camera during a trip to North Korea in 2018, where that were broadcast for the first time in a documentary on national television earlier this month. Asked in a television interview on Wednesday whether Depardieu should be stripped of France's highest state reward because he has the Legion d'Honneur, which he received nearly three decades ago, Macron said, "You will never see me take part in a manhunt." Now, he says, I hate that kind of thing. The presumption of innocence is part of our values, Macron said. He felt huge admiration for Depardieu, whom he called an immense actor. So you see, it's something that it's not a new thing. Gerard Depardieu is one of the most popular ones, and it's been going on it's very common, but unfortunately many of them do go unpunished when it comes to that, and it really is practically swept under the carpet, as you can see from this particular incident with Ary Abitan, which according to the judge says that the case lacked probable evidence. Anyway, back to Brigitte Macron. So Brigitte Macron happens to be very good friends with Ary. And so Ary had a show, somewhere. French people, we believe in theater, we believe in going to the place, we believe in going to the lieu. We do not enjoy so much Netflix. Well, we do, but there is something about French culture that speaks to being able to go to the opera, going to the theater. And so that was exactly what Brigitte Macron did. I mean, she's allowed. She is a human being. Now, in the course of that, the feminists who came out protesting about Ary Abitan and why he should be, accusing him of such and such and such. I think they were walked out. I'm not sure about that. I think they were told to leave the premises. But that actually isn't the problem. The problem is that the president's wife, Brigitte Macron, who is a good friend of Ary, so went backstage and she made some commentary. Take a listen.
Oh là là, ça va, t'es comment?
J'ai peur.
T'as peur de quoi?
De tout.
Mais viens ici, les sales connes, on va les foutre dehors.
Tu crois? C'est ce que j'ai fait hier, moi.
Ouais, ton père, il était là.
Bah oui.
C'est pas possible. Surtout des bandits masqués.
Ouais. Ah, père, non.
C'est combien de temps? Tu fais combien de temps?
Je fais 1h20, 1h25, tout dépend. S'il y a un vrai happening, on verra, s'il y a une embrouille.
Okay, so we heard that. She called them the words in French, sale con. So again, it's so weird, and sometimes, that's why it's always very, again, I'm not a prim and proper person. I try to not to be a rigid person. But I also believe in being very, very careful about where you speak and how you speak, where you are. You could use the F word, you could use the F bomb anytime you like, you could, but I'm one of those people that I'm very, very careful about where I speak and how I speak, it depends, because you just don't know who you're making an impression on. Anyway, now, as of last week or something, the president's wife, Brigitte Macron, has actually come out to apologize for her statements. Now, the apology is weird, but hey, who are we to judge? Take a listen.
Vous qu'on s'est mesuré, avait surpris en traitant de sale conne les féministes susceptibles d'arrêter le spectacle d'Ary Abitan. C'est un rejet du féminisme actuel?
Première chose, je voudrais rectifier, je ne suis pas une femme mesurée. Je suis une femme qui s'enflamme aussi facilement. Donc je remets un petit peu les choses où elles sont. Bien, j'étais dans la salle de spectacle pour voir le spectacle d'Ary Abitan. On me demande de monter dans la loge parce qu'il était inconfortable. Il n'y avait pas... la veille, la salle avait été occupée par 4 ou 5 personnes avec des masques qui avaient un peu jeté les mois dans la salle, je dois bien le dire, parce qu'il y avait du bruit. Bon, c'est pas très facile de monter sur scène dans des conditions comme ça. Bon, donc je suis montée. Mais nous étions 4 ou 5 dans la loge et je n'avais pas vu qu'il y avait une caméra derrière moi. Je ne l'avais absolument pas vu, sinon je ne me serais pas exprimée comme ça. Je suis absolument désolée d'avoir blessé les femmes qui ont pu se sentir agressées ou d'avoir choqué. Je comprends parce que les termes étaient certainement pas adéquats. Et je suis vraiment désolée. C'est tout ce que je ne voulais pas parce que je suis à côté des femmes dans tous leurs combats. Et je pense qu'elles le savent quand elles nous demandent de les aider. Nous sommes toujours là pour elles. Donc je ne voulais pas. Je ne voulais pas. Bon, c'est sorti. J'ai aussi un naturel. Il y a des moments où j'oublie. Et là, je ne devrais pas. Mais je ne suis pas épouse de président à longueur de temps. Il y a des moments où Brigitte reprend le dessus. Et Brigitte n'est pas une femme mesurée.
Je rappelle que Ary Abitan a eu un non-lieu dans le cadre de son procès.
Deux non-lieux. Et quand ce sont des hommes publics, des personnes publiques, ça n'a pas de fin. Et nous ne sommes pas des juges. Et la justice, c'est vraiment un pilier pour moi. Donc, bien évidemment, quand on a recours à la justice, et heureusement que les femmes qui ont subi des violences le disent et ont recours à la justice. Mais le jugement ne va pas forcément être adéquat à ce que nous espérons. Et je le sais, puisque moi, j'ai recours aussi à la justice. Ce n'est pas le sujet. Mais elle est là. Et ce qu'elle dit, elle a étudié nos dossiers. C'est très important. Et ça, je la respecterai. Je respecterai toujours les décisions de justice.
Yes. So her apology is actually very funny. First of all, she apologized. She said je suis pas une femme mesurée. I mean, just like I said, she said she's free, she does this, she does boom, bam, whatever. And so she says something about, she said that she didn't know the camera was turning, she didn't know that the camera was rolling, and that she made the statement she made, and she's sorry that she's apologizing for those who, again, this is what she said. I'm just quoting what she said. But, whatever the meaning, behind it doesn't actually sound very sincere if we're being very truthful, because, she had kept quiet over this over 3 weeks ago. It's been more than 3 weeks. She had been, mute about this issue, where what she said and how it was said. So coming out on TV, on national television, and she was talking about the fact that, she's apologizing, but the apology is not ringing very sincere. Why? Because she says that first of all, she did not know that the cameras were rolling. So which meant if she knew that the cameras were rolling, it wouldn't still have stopped her from making the statement she made. She would have just made it probably in his ears and he would not have heard. Okay? That's number one. Two, that those who she said she feels that, she's sorry for those who were hurt of, whatever. Well, again, it's her apology. I don't know if she's sincere or not, but I am listening to how the apology is being made. And that's where I'm deducing my, POV from. So, yeah, again, a lot of French people still do not pardon her. A lot of French women are still very angry. And we also even had some celebrities, Marion Cotillard, for example, who actually made a statement to that effect. I'm going to look for it and hang it here. She made a statement to that effect, and she was in support of the protesters who came and said, yeah, she'd rather be, this Salcon and, be free and, that kind of thing, rather than, be friends with such and such and such a person. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So she has not been winning a lot of points with the French public, and we all know why. But good news on her part and good news for her, because the courts found 10 people guilty of bullying her. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, that she has not been scoring great points with French people. Candace Owens took up her matter, and a couple of other people and creators took up her matter about her genealogy. And so, I mean, this kind of sort of, vindicates her somewhat, that 10 people were found guilty of bullying her. But then again, she said she will go further to ensure that her, that her genealogy and all that, all this, has to end, and it's enough, right? So yeah, that's it. So tell me, that's it in a nutshell. So tell me, guys, what you think, and I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear what you all think in the comment section below. Let me know, what are you know, I mean, how do you, I mean, again, I get the, I also, just one more thing before I go, I also get the impression that, you know, I think French people, they are so, French people have, you know, their lifestyle has kept them so, I wouldn't use the word rigid, so prim and proper, that they tend to, when there's supposed to be an outrage or an outcry, it sounds so tiny. And I think this is a way for them to, this issue with Ary Abitan and Brigitte Macron is a way for them to be able to actually express and, you know, explode and be very, very vocal about, you know, injustices to women and children, which will also bring me to the next video I'm going to talk about. So stay tuned for that one. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Do not fail to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this amazing channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.